Silksong has finally emerged from its chrysalis after many years of metamorphosis. Team Cherry has spent years crafting Hornet's solo adventure, so, while there are similarities to the original Hollow Knight, the game is full of surprises and new mechanics. So here are our Silksong tips to help you start your adventure in the kingdom of Farloom. Like other Metroidvanias, Silksong is all about exploring, but unlike other Metroidvanias, you have to buy the map from Shakra the merchant, along with other items allowing you to see your position on it, fill it out further, or leave markers. Spending some time grinding for rosaries at the start to buy all these items is recommended to make exploration a lot easier as you progress. It's also best to buy the quill and compass early on too, or the map will be a tad useless. If Hornet sadly dies at the hands of an enemy bug, she'll return to the last bench you visited without any of the silk or rosary beads you collected. Very problematic if you were about to buy a new map. Now, you can return to the spot where Hornet met her demise and destroy the cocoon to retrieve those lost items, but if you're killed before you reach that point, those items are gone forever. Thankfully, there is a way to protect your rosary beads at least. Certain merchants will sell rosary string, which will store your beads. The earliest rosary string you can buy is from the merchant in Bone Bottom for 80 rosary beads. Once you've got a piece of rosary string in Silksong, a set amount of rosary beads will automatically be safely tucked away on the string in your inventory as you collect them. Any beads attached to a string will not be dropped upon death. However, if you want to use any of the beads on the rosary string, you'll need to enter your inventory, highlight it, and then use the indicated command to break the string. So it's a bit of a trade-off. They are safe, but unusable until you want to break the string. Later in this video, I'll tell you the best location to farm rosary beads, so hold on tight. When fighting a boss, you might be tempted to run in and start hitting them straight away. After all, the quicker you hit, the quicker they're dead, right? Well, this isn't actually the best strategy for Silksong. Instead, you'll fare far better by learning the boss's attack pattern first. Begin a fight by simply watching the boss's movements so you know when and where to dodge. Doing this will help you figure out the perfect moment to either heal or attack. Ideally, the magic moment is when Hornet can attack without taking any damage, yet be prepared to only get 1 or 2 hits in. Yes, this does mean certain boss battles will take a while, but it's better to win than die. You can often hear fleas and mask shards before you see them. Turn that podcast off or down. Fleas are Silksong's versions of the grubs in Hollow Knight, and you'll meet Flea Master Mooksha while exploring the Marrows early on in Hornet's adventure. Mooksha will task you with finding the lost fleas, and there are 30 in total. Thankfully, just like in Hollow Knight, you'll be able to hear the fleas before you see them, so if you're listening to any podcasts or music as you play, you're going to want to have them on a lower volume. The same goes with the mask shards, which, if you gather 4, will increase Hornet's maximum health. Just like Hollow Knight before it, Silksong is teeming with hidden pathways and small bonuses that are squirreled away behind breakable walls. There are 2 fairly early on in the game. The first is just above the travelling Flea circus that hides 25 rosary beads, and the other is in the upper screen of Bone Bottom, to the left of where you get your first Weaver upgrade. Sometimes you can tell from visual effects that a wall is breakable, and sometimes you can't. It's generally safer just to hit every little bit of suspicious looking wall you see, to see if you can break through to the other side. Silksong is all about playing as a deft, agile hunter, not the rookish stalwart that took you through all of Hollow Knight. From one of the early bosses, you'll realise that the game is trying to teach you something very simple: stay nimble. Yes, you've got a sideswipe and can do basic combos, but the real damage and skill in Silksong comes from being an aerial threat, as well as a land-based one. At the start, you will have access to an upswing, a dive kick, and a sideswipe. Get used to using the dive kick early and learn its angle, because it will be invaluable in literally keeping on top of enemies and often out of range of their attacks. If you time it right, you can chain dive kicks, just wait for Hornet's little somersault in midair before hitting the next input. Once you unlock the dash, you'll be able to dash midair and perform a violent slash whilst dashing. Against certain enemies, this attack is invaluable, so you want every part of your toolkit ingrained in your muscle memory. Practicing against pilgrims in Mossholm is a good place to learn the basics. You can up your skills and earn rosaries. Win-win. There are certain early game items, like the mossberry, that can only be collected by using Hornet's dive kick to pogo off the head of a flying enemy. The game doesn't really tell you that you can do this, so if you've never played the original Hollow Knight before, you might not know this was even an option. What makes this different from the first game, however, is that Hornet dives at a diagonal, so it can be rather tricky to hit your target, especially if they're moving. If you keep missing the bounce or accidentally kill the enemy you were aiming for, you can normally reset its position by leaving the area and returning, although tougher enemies will need a full bench rest before they respawn. A bit later on in the Marrow section of the game, you'll also encounter flower buds on vines that can be bounced from using the dropkick. This is a perfect area to practice your timing and attack angles, and once you've nailed it, you'll be able to use this skill to access a bunch of hard-to-reach secret areas. If you're struggling, positioning yourself immediately above and to the left of an object is a good failsafe. Silksong is full of secrets, and some are hidden beneath Hornet's feet. Always take the time to look down, even if you're near a ledge, as you'll never know what you could find. It could be a room you'll want to visit, a little sparkly object, or just a bench to sit and save. Even with the map, it's always a good idea to know exactly where you're standing. Looking down is also basically a requirement for navigation, especially if you're heading down instead of up. After all, you don't want to jump into the path of an enemy or into nothing at all. If you're playing using a controller, be it on console or connected to a PC, we highly recommend using the D-pad over the analog stick. We found it far easier to control Hornet using the D-pad, especially when it comes to sections where accurate up dashes and pogoing is a must. Compared to the D-pad, using the analog stick could lead you to over or undershooting the landing in these sections. It may feel a little strange at first, and you may have to readjust your grip on the controller, but it's worth it. Shards are used to buy traps. So you go to the docks, find the smithy, and then buy a trap using your shards. Traps are equipable combat gadgets with a set amount of charges, which you can recharge using shards. One of the most helpful traps is the kunai, throwable daggers that are also known as straight pins. You can only recharge your traps with shards once you rest on a bench, and don't worry about having to do it manually, as this happens automatically as long as you have enough shards in your pocket. These may only deal one tick of damage, but a single kunai can go through multiple enemies, making it incredibly handy when you're being swarmed. Upon meeting the seamstress in Hollow Knight Silksong's far fields, you'll be tasked with retrieving 25 spine cores for her. This might seem like a hefty amount of resources, and, well, it is, but fortunately these don't take too long to collect. Completing this wish for the seamstress is something you want to do as soon as possible, as completion of this side quest gives you access to a new ability that's very useful for the rest of the game. The quest tasks you with hunting hokers in far fields and collecting their spine cores. Hokers are the brown-green circular enemies with daggers, which are actually spine cores, poking out of them found in the area to the right of where you meet the seamstress. Upon attacking a hoker once, they'll dispense the spine cores attached to them, which you'll want to avoid. These spine cores will then land on the floor and walls nearby. You want to quickly run over to them and attack the spine cores to be able to interact with and collect them. And you should be able to collect enough in no time. Good luck. Knowing how to get rosary beads in Silksong will help you quickly fill out your pockets and do useful things like unlocking the map. There are two types of rosary beads. Red rosary beads are worth 1, and silver rosary beads are worth 5. So far, we found that corrupted pilgrims are the enemy types that will drop rosary beads most reliably. The tougher they are to bring down, the more beads they seem to drop. Your first proper encounter with corrupted pilgrims will be at the beginning of Mossholm. Also, it's worth exploring every inch of each area, even if you think nothing is there. Sometimes you'll stumble upon strings of rosary beads hanging from the ceilings. When you find these ones, simply attack them to make them drop down and then run through them to snatch them up. At the time of making this video, our favourite place to farm rosary beads in Silksong is at the start of Mossholm, just after you meet Shakra to unlock the map for the first time in the Marrows. After meeting Shakra, head upwards and to the left until you come to the first area with corrupted pilgrims in it. Defeating the corrupted pilgrims along this stretch of Mossholm will reward you with rosary beads, and this area gives you plenty of practice with dodging incoming attacks too. Once you've emptied this area of enemies, head back to the closest bench to reset the area and then return once more to find that they've respawned. Rinse and repeat to get a lot of rosary beads with minimal effort. Do you have any Silksong tips you think would help fellow bugs out? Feel free to pop them in the comments and take a look through the tips others have posted to see if there's anything to help you out. This video was based on guides made by the indispensable Eurogamer guides team, made up of Lottie Lynn, Kelsey Rayner, Libby Marie Pritchard, with the help of Dom Pepiet and Connor McCarr. Big thanks to them. If you want more Silksong guides content, head over to Eurogamer.net, and if you want to see more Silksong content from me, Zoe Delahunty-Light, including lore, please like this video as I will use that as an interest gauge, and subscribe to Eurogamer for more videos about video games almost every single day. Now, I am going to go and continue taking lore notes on Silksong, so I'll see you folks next time.
Now is a great time to score some incredible games through Humble Choice. Live now through to October 7th, you can grab WWE 2K25, Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, The Plucky Squire, Return to Monkey Island, and more. Whether you're building up your backlog or discovering something new, this is the perfect time to pick up these fan favourites. Plus, every purchase supports a good cause, with this month's featured charity being Team Rubicon. Get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just £11.49 a month.